enjoy day one of the full body fix. Now what we do is we go into what we call Q&A, which is basically questions and answers. And those could include anything from today's session. It could be anything fitness related that you'd like to ask about. And also any comments that you have to share, or especially positive shares. And one thing that I really like to know from our full body fixers in each session is, what did you learn? What did you learn from today's session that you feel could really make a breakthrough in this case, your foot and ankle mechanics, which you know how that can affect the whole rest of your body, right? And so really it's the mechanical concepts that once you've learned, then you can make the whole fitness process that much better. So here's what you should do. If you have any kind of question, comment, positive share, you'd like to share with me what you learned today, anything like that, as I just mentioned, what you can do is in your Zoom chat toolbar, go down to the bottom and you'll see that there's this like little emoticon, like a smiley face with the plus sign. And under that, it says reactions. You would click on reactions and then you can click raise hand. So when you click on that emoticon and then you click which is reactions, and then you click raise hand, in the order in which you raise your hand versus other participants in the session, then I will call on our full body fixers in order of what you raise your hand. So again, go to reactions. If you have a question, comment, positive share, click on reactions, then click on raise hand, and then I'll call on you in the order in which you raise your hand. And Christine, you are quick to the draw, my friend. You're first up here. So first thing, if it's possible for you to share your video, it's awesome. It's much better engaging. If you can't, no problem. That's okay. But if you can, that'd be great. And then we'll bring you up here. Patricia will spotlight you with me here.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Thank you so much. So my question is this, and I think it has to do with the feet. And this has been just incredible this morning, because nobody talks about, when you work with a trainer, nobody focuses on your feet or your ankles. It seems like I've worked with trainers in the past. But my thing is, recently I have like a burning sensation on the inside of my knees, like but it's not the joint. It's like, it feels like the muscles around the knees. Can that be something that is caused by maybe a foot problem?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what you shared is that you feel burning in your, and actually, Christine, are you able to share your video?
I'm not really able to share the video.
Oh, okay. No problem. No
Sorry.
problem. So yeah, because Zoom, the way it works, we can only put two people on the screen if the video's on. But anyway, okay. So what you feel is you feel burning around your knee area, and you're asking me if the foot could cause this issue, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is the body has, which everything we go through in the full body fix and our ongoing training system that we have is really all about what is the ideal position for the body to take load in, to have the best execution of force to the intended place. So in other words, if we're squatting or we're walking, you know, our goal is to put the pressure through the feet, apply force, and have movement. So, but what happens is, like you're learning today with the foot and the arch, and then the way the ankle should be, and the range of motion, and then going up through the lower leg bone into the knee should stay in a hinge joint. When those things change, so for example, the knee can shift in when you have pronation of the foot or flattening of the foot. And then when that happens, you get additional stress and tension in those tissues. And then what happens is the nerves sense, the nervous system is just like the immune system in a way. And the immune system and the nervous system, where they share big commonality is they're both sensory mechanisms of the body. Right? This nervous system is checking, are we in the right place? Are we doing a range of motion that we feel that we're capable of? And the immune system is always checking, do we have foreign invaders? Are there things in the body that I need to attack and get rid of? So they're very similar like that. So what happens is your nervous system, when it knows you're not going into the right position, it can create pain signals. And then also, just the fact of the tissues being stressed, that they're stressed in a way that they're not ideally designed to, then that can cause the tissues to be overworked. Just like if you like did a bunch of repetitions with a curl, your bicep would start burning a lot. So that
Mhm.
same kind of thing can happen in any tissues because we're putting that excess stress. So the biggest area we would see that the knee could be affected is if your foot's going flat and that knee is falling inward.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, look forward to your continual participation in a full body fix. And yeah, let's unravel that chain and get you optimized.
Okay.
Thanks for your question, Christine. And next up, we have Hillary. Hi, Hillary. Welcome. Let's see here. Let me send you, I'll
Can
send
you
you a
hear me?
link to, yeah, now I can.
Hi,
Yep.
how are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. So I have been struggling for the last bunch of years with what's been diagnosed as pretty severe posterior tibial dysfunction. I also don't push off my big toes. So I was lucky to find like a functional podiatrist who diagnosed me and has me in like a torsional orthotic. But I'm wondering, and I also have like very loose joints in my feet. So everything kind of just collapses, right? And I'm wondering, and I've done foot exercises in the past, and I'm so frustrated because I'm very active. And by the end of the day, my feet are exhausted. The only thing that's really saved me is this like torsional orthotic, which for years I was in a traditional orthotic playing tennis. And I think that's what led to the breakdown because it wasn't anatomically. It was basically stretching my ligament, and it wasn't adjusted to how my foot really, the mechanics of my particular foot structure, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of dealing with the aftermath of all that. And I'm wondering if I don't know if it's like a hallux, it's called hallux something where you don't push off your big toe. I'm wondering if there's a way to like activate the foot to work better. Is there any hope for posterior tibial dysfunction beyond surgery? I don't want to go through foot reconstruction. Eventually, I mean, I'm in my 50s now, and I'm like, oh my God, what is it going to look like in my 70s? And I'm wondering, like, if that's something you've ever had success with.
Yeah, in terms of changing the mechanics of the foot, one of the really great things to do would be there's different ways you can get into this position. To keep it simple, you could just put your balls of your feet onto a platform. So like onto a step, and then any like pillow, like especially like a small like cervical pillow or like a round pillow or a towel, anything where you can create a pad that's about this size, right? That would be the goal. Anything could be like a ball, anything soft. And what you would do is you'd squeeze from the medial or the middle part of your ankles inward on this, and then you would do your calf raises. And what that's encouraging, it's creating the neurological connection to work towards that big toe or first metatarsal position. So that is that is actually there's varying degrees of this dysfunction of not having the proper plantar flexion, so opposite of dorsiflexion. But that would be one really good exercise for you. And then, as you're sharing with me how you're doing these exercises for your feet and ankles, that's great. And it sounds like it provides you good benefits. But I would be looking for like, well, how can we step that up? How can we get you even stronger? How can we take that to the next level of almost like, foot and ankle performance, right? In a biomechanically optimized way. So because of, that's the problem, that excess mobility, like mobility is really good until it becomes an excess. And then the
Excess
problem is,
mobility. Yeah, my foot just doesn't hold me up. I mean, it's like,
yeah, with excess mobility, we have lack of stability usually.
yeah.
So I would be looking to create even more strength, even more load, doing eccentric training, which is eccentric strength training is where the muscle is elongating under load. It's elongating under load. Okay, so in other words, like in a curl exercise, like this would be the eccentric phase. In a calf raise, you'd be where your heels are up and you're lowering. In like the dorsiflexion exercise we did today, it'd be when you're lowering. And
So if I
the
put like a yoga
mechanics,
block, if I put like a yoga block between my calves, and then I like just lift and I slowly went down as opposed to the up motion, and focused on the down motion. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, because 98% of the effectiveness of strength training actually happens in the eccentric action. Because while the cross bridging of the fibers are working to connect, it's really interesting. The way that muscle fibers work, they actually have these two different proteins called actin and myosin. And you're all going to learn why is this important to understand this. So they connect like this, and through energy metabolism, they let go of one branch and grab onto the next. And so what happens is in eccentric strength training, when you're elongating the muscle under load, you're pulling apart these bridging gaps, and it creates microscopic tears in the tissue, which is a good thing as long as you do it within your capability. And that is a bigger stimulus, which creates the muscle to be stronger, which in essence, the way that all strength training works is specificity. So depending on how you load and strengthen the body will be the result. In other words, if you're doing eccentric strength training, which is like the pulling apart of the tissue, then you create a resistance to breakdown of the tissue and you reduce your likelihood of tissue tears. And so one of the best ways to get additional like joint stability and tissue stability is to do really concentrated eccentric strength training. So I think you're probably doing really good exercises. I'm sure you've met with like a professional or physical therapist or podiatrist, like you said, a functional podiatrist. So I would just bring those exercises up with more eccentric strength training, and we potentially look for, a couple others like the one I shared with you to get even more strength, because the answer really is stability and balanced stability for you.
Have you seen success with like for people that have had those kind of things with some of this kind of training?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I've never seen someone go through our system and not have extensive results if they're consistent. The consistency is the key.
Right.
The mechanical principles are there. Like, we've been doing this for 20 years with the biomechanical focused approach, and thousands of people have gone through our system, and the ones who are consistent get a tremendous improvement. And, in the full body fix, you learn a lot. We really, it's not about a sales thing. It's about a value thing. It's about helping the community. It's about really giving back. But we have of course, what we call our VIP training system, which is what we call our clients. We do not call our clients VIPs. We do not call our clients clients. We call them VIPs. And so in our VIP training system, we have an medical doctor, orthopedic specialist. We have a doctor of physiotherapy. We have a whole team. And so you go through your training, and then they, as needed, you can get additional help and support, extra exercises, whatever is needed. So like we have a system that works to produce the kind of results you're wanting, but then we also have a support system to make sure you get the best results. But I don't want to get too much into that. I want to focus kind of like what we're doing in the full body fix. But if you wanted to know about that, and anybody here, any full body fixer that would want to know about what I just shared, you can sign up for it. It's all about you session. Patricia will drop the link in the chat now. And it's a free session. I personally meet with you. We do small little group huddles and have a really awesome consult where you can learn more about all of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, but absolutely, Hillary, I think you can. Absolutely. You got I think you're on a good track, but I think we could definitely improve what you already have going. That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And next up we have Mary. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Mary Lou McKee. Hello, Mary. There you are.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good. I just have a short question. I have been told that I should use a medium arch support in my shoes. And I wondered if doing some of these exercises might fix that so that I don't ultimately need to use those arch supports. Is that correct thinking?
Yeah, definitely. Improving tissue integrity can help restore the arch. And the best thing to do is to see like, a really great podiatrist who can actually analyze. You can make results with the training and then they can adjust as because usually when you have changes in the body, it's not like Monday you're 20% off and Tuesday you're perfect. So, we make adjustments along the way. So that way with like your orthotic, you can make adjustments along the way. That way your foot is always supported in the most ideal position. So yes, absolutely. It can make a gigantic difference. And actually, I highly recommend our VIPs to train with us barefoot, the majority of them, unless they really have some more larger foot pathology issues. So train barefoot and really use proper foot mechanics during their training session, which is a very controlled setting. Then the feet get more strength, more capability, better alignment. And from that training, then that can stem on to other parts of the day. But when you go on to like, if you're going to go to Costco or going to go to some store that's large or go somewhere you're going to do a lot of walking, it's best to use the really proper foot support that someone like a podiatrist has developed for you so that you have that great alignment.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great, good question. Hello, James. Welcome. I sent you a little link there. You should be able to click to unmute.
There we go. Okay.
How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. It was an enjoyable, and I wanted to let you know that the stretches, I could feel the burning in the areas where I think I needed more stretch, and that was particularly in the what you call the dorsiflexion, and the exercises I felt
Yes.
burning. I felt burning also in those areas, so they were being stretched. I used to doing exercises where I pivot in all directions, standing, going up, going back, and to side and inversion. But this was nice, and the raising up on the books, that was awesome. I felt that intensity. So I'm gaining a lot from that. Now, I did jump off of a high surface at one point, and I had shoes on that didn't have much cushion in it or arch support. And when I hit the ground, it was intense pain in the feet. And I said, I'll never do that again. In fact, I never wore those shoes again. But I have a sore spot on the bottom of my foot that only moved when I apologized. Believe it or not, it only moved when I apologized to my body. And so it moved further to the outside, but it's still there. And I'm wondering if that's because of posture or something like that also. I don't know if you have any skill on that.
Yeah, so you have foot on towards the middle of the ball of the foot before, and now it's moved. Is that what you're?
It's moved under the small toe, and it's I guess about an inch from the outside now. It was more in the center before, but after I apologized, it moved to the side. I was like, whoa. So I don't know, I had the idea I'd lock this fence, and you can't lock it from the outside. So I said, let me just jump over it. Bad idea.
So there. Okay, so yeah, this was soon after you did the whole fence jumping thing. Then you landed from a high distance, correct?
Right, but I'm associating it with this because this was the most traumatic thing that happened, and I felt it before I left with, and I felt it all right.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting that happens when we get injured, it's like, you had a form of injury, even whether you're like really injured and torn the tissue and you need surgery, or all the way to just you have some pain and the tissues are inflamed, those are both on the spectrum of a level of injury. So what happens is on the, when you get injuries, a few things happen. The tissues get inflamed. And then when they get inflamed, what that the immune system causes that issue, the nervous system senses that you have changed tissues also. So they have sensors that trigger pain signals. And then what happens is it starts to guard the area. So it starts to change the range of motion. It makes the sensory signal going to your central nervous system that lets that message come back saying, okay, had that injury there, so shut down function of the tissue. Don't go more stiff, go more tight, protect that body area. And so that's the way your body works. So then you start to change the tissue functionality. So when we get these injuries that accrue over our lifetime, that's why they really build up, is because we get something called kinesio, which is like movement phobia, the fear of movement. And so the body develops, even subconsciously, different types of fear of movement, and it changes the tissue mechanics and the neurological function to the area. So like what could happen for you is you have initially that tissue had the most inflammation, and maybe it got better with inflammation, but now this other tissue area is restricted because it went stiff trying to protect the motion that was in a close proximity to where that injury occurred, right? Does that make sense? So this is all what we call kinesiophobia. And then what is the solution, right? For those who are just like, okay, just tell me what to do to fix it, is to learn how to optimize your body mechanics and movement. If you just learn how to optimize all your body mechanics and your mobility and range of motion, then that's the secret sauce. And then always do your exercise in optimal body mechanics and alignment. And then from that, then you get great physiology effects, right? Fitness effects like health and energy and strength, all the things people really want. So in terms of your foot, probably a level of kinesiophobia and the whole kind of mechanical breakdown of both the immune system and nervous system. And now it's just shifted. So my suggestion would be to take like a ball. So like, give me 1 second. I'll show you an example. So a ball like this, you can buy, this is a lacrosse ball. So it's called a lacrosse ball. And you simply, like when you're sitting, you can just put your foot, or you can use a tennis ball. It's a good starter. It's a little softer on your foot. It's a hard rubber ball, and you can just rub your foot on that. It helps mobilize and break up the plantar fascia and create better fascial lining. So in other words, the encasing of the soft tissue, it gets it more smooth, gets it more functional. So that's a good thing to do as well, to help recover the tissues.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll do that.
You're welcome. Awesome.
Awesome.
Make it a great weekend. Thanks for your question. And next up, we have Cruz. Hello, Cruz. Welcome. Hello. It looks like you're unmuted.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate all the information that you gave us. I've had many injuries on my foot or leg area. In the past, I've had a fractured ankle, a fractured kneecap, and I've gone through physical therapy to try to get them mobilize them more. Recently this year, I had an injury on the heel of my, right foot. I got x-rays done on it. It looked like I didn't fracture anything. After like maybe a month or so, I didn't have any more pain on my foot. But recently, I was here at the house and I must have stepped on something that pushed into the heel, and I started feeling that pain again, which I hadn't felt it for, I think it's been more than 4 months that I haven't had any pain on my heel. And so now I'm having to buy comfortable shoes or with more cushion on the heel, because it bothers me if I wear any flat, like anything flat, like either like flat sandals or anything like that. So my question is, what can I do? I know I haven't I didn't get any fractures, so maybe it's something else that I must have messed up. Then I must have hurt. And then this time that I stepped on something, it just triggered the pain again. So that is my question. What can I do?
Yeah, so my suggestion for you is, like, you know, on our team, we have some medical professionals that are very elite with orthopedic issues and nutrition and all kinds of things. But in terms of your body mechanics, that's what I specialize in, is optimization. So we have those team members on our team for our VIPs. So I would decline to answer, because your best answer, because the best answer is for you to go to a medical professional, have a proper evaluation, instead of having me tell you, like, over the internet,
But you-
well, yeah, you need to, like, have 27 degrees of, well, you actually have, you know, potentially some type of injury. So it makes more sense, like, well, let's figure out what's going on with the tissue
Okay.
mechanics. Let's make sure, and I can give you some direction, like, because you want to make sure that you don't have additional tissue breakdown, or if there's
Yes.
some kind of damage, that you're doing movement that's going to make it worse. So, you know, you'd want to have a proper evaluation so that you can figure those things out. And once a medical professional has looked at that and seen, okay, your tissue is in a sufficient health to take load and stress, then okay, then how do I get from, you know, dysfunction to optimal function? And then that's where we would come into, like, okay, now let's restore your functionality. Let's make your foot and ankle awesome again, right? So that would be my guidance for you
Okay.
on that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Ronald, hello, sir. Good day to you. I don't think you're not unmuted yet. I sent you a
There we
little.
go. Good morning.
There we go. Good morning.
Wondering if you could talk a little bit about choosing the right running shoe or training shoe. I'm a pronator, and I know I need a stability shoe. And I guess the question is, how do I know how much is too much in terms of balancing the stability with the cushioning of the shoe? And also, how do I know when the shoes maybe are wearing down and I need to replace them?
So let me answer the last question first, and then we'll go backwards. So you should replace your shoes if you're a runner, like, every 3 months. It's
Wow.
a really short, it's much, every 90 days is much shorter than most people would think or do.
Wow. I thought it was
Yeah.
500 miles or a year or something like that, but
Like 90 days. Yeah. Like 90 days. Yeah.
okay.
And for some of the higher end shoes, definitely go a little further, but yeah, it's about 90 days. And so your question is, like, best shoe. So the shoe is going to just really depend. Like, I would go to a store that does a gait analysis on your foot, and then has, like, a wide selection of shoes, and then matches your foot alignment. So I can give you the direction of, like, how to get this best answer. So that would be one answer. The other answer is, if you're really having a foot pronation issue and you're running, running can be a high impact activity, especially with what we call pathokinematics, which is like pathology in the movement. And so, you'd want to see, like, podiatrists, get a good orthotic, and help support that alignment, so that you're not having that mechanical dysfunction that's leading to shear stress in your joints and wearing out tissues, causing degeneration and that type of thing. But there's a lot of good shoe brands. It just really depends on what's going on with your foot. Like, one of my favorites is Saucony. One of my favorite shoes is Saucony. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I would suggest. And if you take that advice, where you either go to a shoe store, at least, that does, like, a gait analysis, like here we have one called Roadrunner Sports. I don't know if you have that store in your area, but they do an analysis on the foot and then match with the shoe. But really the best level, of course, is seeing a podiatrist who's an elite expert in the foot, the mechanics and orthotics, and that would really be your best path. Because maybe no shoe is perfect for you. Maybe it's the orthotic with the shoe, right? And in that case, one of the best things is really to have, and you need a stair step into what I'm about to share with you, but a minimalist shoe. So a shoe that doesn't have as much cushion. And then again, the podiatrist could help see like, well, is the minimalist shoe right for you? But most of the research shows us that, if we have too much foot protection, then it can create some down regulation or loss of functionality in the foot, because it's like using an external device to always support your foot. And now you lose functionality because it's based on demand. You don't need it. You don't have to use it. And so then your feet become more dysfunctional. So my suggestion is, with exercise that isn't running, barefoot, good quality control, perfect alignment. With running, have the best foot alignment you can get. Shoe store with analysis is great. Podiatrist is even better. That would be the forward direction for that. And then what you're doing in exercise makes each one of those other ones better towards where it's your foot and not an external device. Is that, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, my friend. Make it a great weekend.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. And Jason, hello, sir. How's your Saturday going? How was session 1 of the full body fix for you?
Hey, it was pretty good. You hear me all right?
Yes, I can. Yep.
All right, cool. First off, I just wanted to say thanks for all the information that you put out there. I mean, I've watched your podcast and, there's a lot of good stuff, a lot to take in too.
Yeah.
But, hey, in the video, I was noticing, your wife was talking about, and you guys were talking about bunions and all that stuff and how doing toe exercises will fix it. And I was sitting here, I'm like, well, I'm not really going to ask no questions. I'm like, man, I am kind of starting to get this. My pinky toe kind of goes underneath my other toe a little bit. And it's starting to get to the point where every now and then when I'm stepping on it, I'm a mechanic for work, so I'm on my feet all day. I can start feeling that. What are some of the exercises I can do to fix that? Before it leads to have to have surgery when I'm in my 60s or late 50s or whenever. Like, what can I take some, steps now to prevent that?
So
make
the
it better.
three toe exercise that we did today, which Patricia would have posted a link for, you can get the sheet for that. That is a really good one. And also a little bit makes me think potentially you have a shoe that's kind of crowding your toes and encouraging that alignment as well. So I'd be a little bit concerned about taking a little closer look at that. And, when you exercise, like lunges and squats and stuff, a really good thing to do is try to separate your feet, is actively separate your toes while to spread them out. It's not an easy function, but it definitely can have some functionality there. So you're trying to spread your toes out while you do your squats, while you'll do your lunges. So that would also be a really good thing for you to do.
I did switch to on my boots, I switched to a wider boot because I think that was a problem, because I noticed when I put on my old boots, it really aggravates it. So I'm thinking that was one thing. But the spreading of my toes, I can't, it's like that pinky toe is dead. It'll go up a little bit, but other than that, it just don't do anything. So you do the 3-toe thing or to hold the one down? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool. That was about it for me, man.
Cool. Yeah, that'll help you. And then also just at night or when you're chilling, hanging out, just take that toe and just, gently stretch it back, kind of massage the tissues underneath, because there's a whole mechanical chain of stuff that happens. The tissue functionality of the muscles, the way they work, they start changing their function to work in a shortened position. And then the fascial tissue that wraps the muscle, it starts changing its length, and it can actually get a more anchored and helps keep the tissue stuck in that position. So when we start changing the functionality in terms of neurological connection, and then you do some manually applied toe stretching and working that area, and then you have a boot that's not encouraging that toe cramming, and you combine all that, that's where you're going to see oh, wow, in just a matter of 2 weeks, wow, this is really starting to change. And then 2-3 months will make it more permanent and significant change.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you. All right, full body fixers. Patricia has dropped the link here again. If you would like to, which of course, why wouldn't you? Right? If you would like to learn about how to become a VIP of ours and become part of the VIP, what we call our VIP family or our VIP mastermind, you can schedule a private consultation, a group semi-private consultation with me. The link is in the chat now. We can connect and talk about the things that are most important to you and how we could help you with our system as well. So if that's something that you would like to do, this link is provided for you in the chat now, and hope to see you in one of those sessions. And make sure, of course, session 2 will be on Monday. So we'll be going on into knees and hips. So make sure you're scheduled for all the sessions. And before we close out, Patricia, anything that you would like to share before we close out?
We're going to leave, we're going to leave the meeting open. So everybody that came in a little at the end of the session, you can stay, and we are going to restart in 22 minutes. And Valerie, yes, you will have a recording. We will send the recording at the end of each full body fix day. So on the today, we're going to send about 4 or 5 p.m. Arizona time. We are in Arizona, and every full body fix, we're going to do the same. We're going to send at the end of the day. And we have 5 sessions. Today's session 1. May 23rd is session 2, May 25th, session 3, May 27th, 4, and May 28th is the last session. I will drop the link in the chat for scheduling if you are not scheduled yet. And I will see you soon.